Everyone. This is a brief intro to the video attached here called George the Cat. As many of you know, I work with animals. I do pet readings and pet healing. And the readings normally use 4 different tarot decks. I draw cards randomly. Most of the time, there's always a synchronicity when I do it that way. And it also involves intuitive work, kind of keying into the animal's energy, channeling messages, doing chakra alignments, just a lot of what we do for our human clients. And it never is boring. There is always something really exciting in every reading. Every message is wonderful. But this one I found to be quite unique, and I really wanted to share it all with you. This cat is what we call a wanderer. I don't like the word stray. He doesn't necessarily have one set of owners or one home that he lives in. He kind of goes around to different places. And one of the places he goes is to the home of my friend and co-practitioner Claire in the United Kingdom. And this cat just comes to visit and hangs out with them, and they love him very much. So we decided to do a reading for him, and wow, was it amazing. I got the type of info that it is kind of rare to get. It was so in depth. It really goes to show that as much as we love our animals and we feel we really know them, we don't always know that much. They have extensive past life histories, experiences. They incarnate to be with us many times. The pets that we have will notice a similarity in personality, certain quirks that they have, and we're like, oh wow, that was just like the dog or the cat that I used to have, because it is. They keep coming back to us in the spiritual or galactic sense. When we are not living on Earth, these animals will often be our guides or our companions. It's really, really interesting, some of the things we find. George brought us a bit of wisdom for our ascension journey, and he is adorable, and I wanted to share him with you. If any of you out there are interested in having a reading for your pet, please contact me via my website or my email. I'll put both below. Pet readings are super easy and affordable, and they also make outstanding Christmas gifts. But if you do have questions about your pet, just general things, I would be happy to answer them for you. But right now, let us introduce to you the beautiful George the cat. I begin this reading for George the cat as I look at his aura, his energy. His aura is showing that he's existing in what looks like a round circle, a pastel rainbow type light kind of swirling around. We looked for attachments, any intrusions in his energy field. He's pretty clear. Everything looks wonderful. I did do a clearing anyway on his chakra, and in alignment, sealed his auric field in some really heavy golden light. But overall, George is a natural transmuter of energy. So it's almost like he's healing himself all of the time, which is why I believe he is so clear right now. Moving on into George's past life experiences. These are very, very interesting. These are the experiences that have shaped him into who he is today. He's had many, many past lives as a warrior, system buster, being an inspiration to others, a very positive role model in a lot of different capacities that we'll discuss as we go on. George has fought for truth. He's been a bringer of hope. In these lifetimes, he's had a pattern of resisting authority, doing everything his own way, whether it is in his favor or not. He also has a history of not liking to be confined in any way. He's a strong creator of his own reality, and he prefers to live that fluid lifestyle. He is also radiating to me an intense vibration of wisdom. The strongest thing that's coming through to me is his intense need to always be fighting for justice. Justice is an important element for him. He has a great fearlessness. It's gotten him into some trouble over the lifetimes. He's had a lot of lifetimes where he has tried out different forms. He's got quite an array of different forms he's had that he's embodied. His mission on Earth now is something that he's done many times before, but this has been done more in a humanoid type of form, not as a feline. And for reasons we will be discussing, the feline is the ideal form for what he's trying to accomplish on the Earth right now. George's roots are very, very closely tied to the Lyran system also. My visions and connection with George began with an image of stars, lots of stars scattered across the sky. And then I was presented with the George. George is superimposed in front of the stars. He has a feline face like the one he has now and a humanoid body. He's wearing a brown vest, and then it looks like some type of a belt or sword that's slung across his chest like a strap. He's telling me that he's been a warrior many times over. He's traveled far and wide as a proponent for truth and justice. He is saying that one of the things that's been his mission throughout time is teaching others how to be wholly integrated within themselves. He repeats wholly integrated over and over several times as he's speaking to me. He says how to wholly integrate truth and freedom, asking the questions to yourself, how can you be free? How can you break free from your constraints and your shackles and the things that keep you down? He strives to impart that energy to those he encounters. He chooses to be a wanderer, and he's been a wanderer since the moment of his own creation. He wants you to understand the distinction of not being a loner, but a wanderer. And he's saying the words, open road. He's a wanderer in this lifetime. He's wandering in and out of Claire's life. He's here to share the wisdom of so many battles and so many victories, to commiserate, to reminisce with Claire about the experiences that they've shared throughout many lifetimes across time and space. And in the present day, this is why he is here. What is George's role in this lifetime? I asked him. George is transmuting negative energy. It's something he does as he wanders from place to place, home to home, person to person. This body has the ability to safely absorb the toxic frequencies, and it's almost as though he's processing them through his feline body and then transmuting them out and back up to source. I find this very interesting that he is able to do something like this with no ill effect to himself. His paws, he's showing me, are on the ground. He's allowing me to feel his connection as being very strong and direct with the earth. He loves the earth, he's saying. He loves it so much, and he wants to help the mother. He's come here for that reason. He's also showing me, as he's walking into your house, Claire, he's walking through the house, room to room. While he's doing that, he's actually purging, removing toxins from the home. And as he does this purge, I can see an energy coming up almost from the floor, and then it's flowing through his body and then up and out, almost from his crown. It goes out and up, much like we do by having the angels come in and transmute energy in session. The energy rises up directly from George, however, and out to source. He can do this amazingly just with his physical form. It's an organic thing he's doing. It's not like he's deciding or thinking about doing it. It just happens. He doesn't necessarily have to focus or do anything. It's this body he's taken on, which is designed naturally to perform this healing. So that purging is naturally happening when he's in the house with Claire and the children. He's helping to clear all of you. He wants you to know. He's also clearing the energy of the house. And it's really funny, I thought, when I watched this, because it's like he's doing entity removal all the time. But it's fascinating because his body is able to simply do this without even acknowledging he's doing it. This type of processing and transmutation is amazing because it's something that we in our human 3D bodies cannot do at this time anyway. He's able to continually do this, staying healthy and strong. And this is also one of the reasons he's come into your life, Claire, right now. And he's doing this also for others in your neighborhood. He's not the only one. He wants you to know that you're not the only one he's visiting. He's showing me an image of him going into a shop. It's a small store. It doesn't appear to be too far away from your house. I see him sort of sneaking in, kind of undetected, walking around and doing that transformation there. He's also leaving kind of an imprint of joy, he's saying, in this place. He tells me he always brings joy when people see him. And this is because, this is funny, he's so attractive and he is so cute that when people see him, they instantly become happy. He brings a smile to people's faces. I watch him now passing through people's backyards. He's walking along the sidewalk, also climbing the trees, and he's providing that same transmutation and healing to the trees as he climbs them. He's spreading his light, and he is telling Claire that it would probably be wise for you when he comes to visit to just do a quick body scan anyway on him. Maybe if he needs just a light dusting off or clearing, making sure everything is aligned and in order. He said, even though he's able to clear himself naturally, it always helps to have that second set of eyes and that second energy looking out for him. He's calling it an extra tune-up. And he says, this is because of the changing energies on the earth right now. And that's our team. I can hear our team, Claire, reiterating that this is something you should be doing. I also see that for George, just like the rest of us, these days are a culmination of all the work he's been doing for such a long time. For George, this is the last time he's going to be in such a dense body. It's actually not comfortable for him at all. It feels very small, very tight and confining, but he's still happy. He says he's come full circle. What he's telling me is, from the beginning to the grand finale, he's planning to see this through. So Claire planned to see George coming around for a while. If it continues that this remains to be his choice, then you will see him quite often. George also is showing me a very strong connection to the Sirius star system. He has lived Sirian lifetimes many, many times, he says. This is as a teacher. George is presenting to me the word teacher throughout this reading, saying that is his primary role. That is his archetype. You might say he is a teacher. He calls himself a bringer of knowing. He's very, very wise. And in the Sirian lifetimes, he brought the wisdom. I can see him tall, very white. There's a type of blue energy around him. He was not an elder, but he was considered always a wise one, always bringing much to the table as far as helping societies in need, like this one now, teaching freedom, truth, assisting societies which are coming out of polarity. He has tremendous wisdom. This is vibrating through his energy field. It's actually a very visible thing to see. And I believe, Claire, that you will be able to see this. He's showing himself as a type of sage. And another lesson coming to me, which George is here to teach, is about fluidity, about movement, about allowing events to unfold without trying to control everything, which is a tendency humanity has. He's preaching a sort of, I hate to use the word lack, but he's calling it a lack of control, but in a really good way, something positive, just to enjoy that feeling. He's asking us to look at how he lives his life right now and who he is right now. He's independent. He just goes from place to place, bringing his light and his healing. He is fluid and he flows with whatever comes to him. He goes wherever he wishes to go. He wishes for the humans who come into contact with him to learn this lesson. He is saying to us to release the rigidity that's been pummeled into humanity from birth via the social structure here on 3D Earth. The way things are told that they should be versus the way you really want them to be. You choose. Be independent, he says. Feel that lightness of being. Be as he is, he says, and you will find truth and happiness within you. And now I move on to George's future. I'm very hesitant, as anyone who's done a reading with me knows, to predict future. The reason being our timelines themselves are so fluid, and there are so many in play that what I am keying into at the time of the reading, as I'm doing now, is the now moment on the timeline where George, as a cat, has his paws planted. So as I look at this, his immediate future, as things stand in the very now moment of this reading, I see again that George is going to continue in some other form or another on to become a part of the 5D Earth. He will be going on to teach, again as a wise one, but definitely not in the form of a small cat. It will be in a form more conducive to him being able to speak his message, to be heard. He's planning to stay with the earth. And here's what he says to me. He says that he's going to rise with her and to ride the wave of higher consciousness. He will be teaching and sharing, teaching trust in the universe, teaching the art of simple manifestation, unity, cooperation, and respect. He wishes to continue his teaching, but in a much different and more comfortable form. So, again, I am seeing a drastic transformation of his physicality. I'm being given a vision of George in 5D Earth, and I will share that now. I see George standing in front of a building. It's a white building, not a lot of detail, but I'm getting the idea of what this is. George, there's a short set of steps in the front of the building, and George is standing at the top of the steps. He's very tall, and he's right in front of the doorway. His arms are spread very wide in a sort of a welcoming gesture. I honestly cannot make out the distinct features of his face, but I can get a very strong feeling that he's smiling. That vibration is coming through the reading. Now I see children, really young children. They might be 5 or 6 years old, maybe a little older. They're running down a path and running up the steps. They're laughing and kind of playing, and they're just really, really happy. And they're racing through the door. George is standing there, and he's kind of got his arms spread wide and welcome, and he's allowing them to kind of run under his arms because he's so tall into the building. He is wearing what looks like a long white robe, and it has gold geometric symbols on it. it's really, really interesting. He is saying that these are his power colors. The white and gold are his colors. He identifies very strongly with his colors. They enable him in his healing. He wants us to think of them as his power colors. He says he will be teaching again. He says that these are the children of the new earth. He's working as a type of mentor to them and a role model. These are not the children who were born in 5D, however, he says these children that have come to him now on this day are children who have transitioned over with the adults during the shift. And they're freshly out of 5D, like probably days, if we could say that, out of 5D. They've come out of 5D lifestyles, and he must teach them how to function in a 5D society. It's a type of a school, he tells me. And George is to teach them values and principles that are important on 5D Earth. He says that many of them will have quite literally just come from the 3D education system, and through no fault of their own, the things they were taught there have to be unlearned. So that's going to be something he's doing as right away after the shift. Now I'm being shown the category that I call the challenges. These are the challenges that are specific to George that he has taken on for this lifetime. So let's see. Now, they're not lessons, he says, just challenges, circumstances which would be most conducive to his being able to share his message and complete his mission. He's saying that the loneliness is one. That's a big challenge. He's saying that this path he's chosen can be very lonely because although he knows he's one with Source, he still misses the camaraderie of others, of his friends and family. He would love to stay in the warmth of your home, Claire, but he knows that there are others that he needs to visit and work with. So he would like you to know that he desires to be with you and the children always, but his mission will not allow him to do that. So all the love you are giving him when he does come to visit you is so appreciated. This message of leaving, of being a wanderer again, is coming through as an energy to me. It's so prevalent in this reading. It's kind of hard to transmit into words, but it's definitely there as a
key part of his